What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to the fastest formula. Last time, Dur, Gideon, and the fastest formula went up against the silhouette formula in Hardy Guns. Hatsuri Rona met with Fons Kagati, and Kuroda was handed the reins of Crossbone Vanguard. This time, Dur will test the Minovsky drive to create the first Wings of Light. He tells Gideon of what happened 4 years ago, and the Rona family has their eyes on Dur. So let's get into this. 3 days after the mock battle, Charles Rochester meets up with his close friend Kanata, who is a pilot with the fastest formula team. Charles came to see Kanata off. He wants her to find out intel regarding the F90 and the pilot, but she isn't any closer to understanding either. She and the Ajax departs. Later, they take out a Xeon remnant group turned drug smugglers. Oz is tired of the low and low mix. A high and low mix is a military strategy in the real world that focuses on combining a small amount of high-end units with a large amount of low-end units. We see this in Universal Century pre-UC-100. GEMs and mass production models paired with a Gundam used to be Federation standard. But over the past 30 years, they are left with outdated Jagans and mediocre heavy guns. They discuss Buick's new DESA type. The DESA type, unofficially known as the Danon Worker, was developed by Buick Aerodynamics. The construction of this was used to buy parts from Anaheim Electronics. Although pitched as a mobile worker, this was actually the test bed for the Danon line of mobile suits. We know that the DESA is the basis for the Danon type of mobile suits from Buick, but here it seems as though it was created in conjunction with AE and Yashima Heavy Industries. Mizma tells Dur that Boz is known as Annihilator Gelumson. He is notorious in the mercenary world. Mommy Ursai, along with Mommy number 2, Queen Li Xiaomei, are spying on Dur. They notice that he is starting to open up to people. He is acting his true self. While these two mommies do stuff, they say that he represents the light of Cosmo Cruz. I highly recommend you read Tomino's notes to Hasegawa when writing Crossbone Gundam. If you read Crossbone Gundam, Rona has a philosophy of not killing their enemies. Though not mentioned in the manga and only these production notes, Rona follows the philosophy of Cosmo Cruz. While Help is ordering the mechanics around, Jabjan shows up. Ajax Captain Randy is talking to Hatsuri Rona regarding their captured Zaku that Dur took. On the inside, this thing is barely a Zaku. Many of the parts resemble the Carcharius from Randiger Heavy Industries. With the blueprints, any car manufacturing plant can develop these mobile suits. This is perfect for small-scale terrorists. The captain wonders if the Zaku is created by the same person involved with the heavy mobile armor construction plan. They are to act as a decoy with the Gundam. The team launches. Queen Lee is in the ST gun, Gideon in the F89 with the chaser equipment, and Dur is in the F90 prototype Minovsky drive test equipment. This is tested using the Warbird type, which we see Berg use in the future. Baz is mad that they get a Minovsky drive before the F80s. Dude can't let it go. He explains Minovsky tech. On this channel, I always refer to the force field of a Minovsky drive as an invisible pillow. This invisible pillow is apparently called the Minovsky repulsor field. One of the technicians mentioned that this was used to propel weapons at higher speeds, but now they are using it for interstellar travel. This SNRI technician happens to be Otis Arkins. He is one of the old men in Victory Gundam who helped the League and the Kemyon. He says it will probably be another 20 years until we see this put to practical use. In 20 years, we just so happen to see the Mother Vanguard in action. They sync the CA3 pseudo-personality computer with the Minovsky drive. Dur activates the drive and goes insane speeds, but suddenly the unit starts losing control. Gideon tries to decelerate the unit, but it doesn't work. For the first time in Universal Century, the Minovsky drive disperses particles and creates the phenomenon, the Wings of Light. Suddenly, an explosion goes off and the Wings of Light disappear. They lose contact with F90 and F89. Gideon wakes up. He was unconscious. He calls out for Liv. Dur's alive and says, "That isn't my name." His body is in a lot of pain. Gideon's long-range comms still work, but they seem to have flung themselves on the far side of the moon, where comms have always been a little spotty. Gideon hangs out in Dur's cockpit while they wait for someone. He says, "Since we are out here, you might as well tell me what happened 4 years ago." Dur says after the events, he came too. He was on a colony simply called the Base. They then took him to Earth to a hidden village that belonged to GBG. This is where he met Matrika Vikara. She says she is the pilot who fought against him. A man comes up behind her and says she is right. This is the leader of Gleam Black Guns, Kubera Vikara. He wants to know of his mother. but they never found her or the Gundam. Out of anger, he goes to punch Kubera, but he doesn't skip Ab Day. Kubera calls him Bagatshur, which seems to be a Turkish and Mongolian word for honorable warrior. But Dur says, "Kill me, you coward." They walk away. The Gleam Black Guns have been living illegally on Earth since the 1-year war. They take on various jobs to survive. During the Grips conflict and the first Neo-Zeon War, they were contractors for Kuraba. Once Kubera became their leader, they started taking on more corporate jobs to survive. Dur started working with GBG with the intention of one day joining them, but there hasn't really been any wars since Char's rebellion. This is just a false war propped up to justify the Federation's budget during peacetime. He doesn't tell Matrika his name, so she decides to call him Dur Rider after her favorite movie. I assume this is a Kamen Rider reference, but I'm not sure. GBG taught him how to live, and in many ways were his family. But that all changed 2 years ago. They went on a mission through the new Side 6 Shoal Zone. Their client for this mission is Anaheim Electronics. Ever since the Laplace incident, the Federation has been distancing themselves from the company. They are hoping that AE will designate their hidden village as a special district so they can live on Earth forever. Something attacks from behind. He happens to encounter the mobile suit that took down his mother, a Tigris. This is known as the Tigris II. The OMS-1004 Tigris II, pronounced DO, is a mass-produced transformable mobile suit that the Zeon Remnant Group Legacy reverse-engineered the original Tigris from Randiger Heavy Industries. They also reverse-engineered a Minovsky fusion reactor from Anaheim Electronics, as well as sensors from the James gun. Like the predecessor, it has a mobile armor and can bite off its opponents. Weapons include 12.7mm Vulcans, a beam saber, a 3-barrel Gatling gun, and a beam machine gun. Dur is in a Gem Sniper GBG spec. The RGM-79SC Gem Sniper Custom GBG spec is modified with contemporary parts, putting it on par with the heavy gun. Dur's unit also has the addition of a missile launcher on the left shoulder, a beam pistol, and an extra beam saber. In a fit of rage, he rushes in. In the sniper unit, I know you're mad, but think for a second. I guess it doesn't matter because Dur and the team are able to overwhelm the unit. However, there seems to be more than just one. The team is overwhelmed. He watches as the entire GBG team is killed one by one. He even watches Matrika get killed. In the present, he then wakes up in a hospital. Next to him is Hatsuri Rona. They are in Frontier 1 on the new Side 4. They rushed him here while he was unconscious. Hatsuri says that new types aren't meant to be tools for destroying one another. This is a famous Amado Ray quote. Dur doesn't seem to know who he is. Hatsuri seems to be an Amado Ray fanboy. The Ajax picked up Gideon and Dur, but SNRI sent him to the SNRI psych facility to get treated. Boz thinks this is a new type labs. Even if it isn't, the Federation tends to treat new types as people with psychic powers. Hatsuri and Dur go for a drive. He tells him that, like many people that night, he too saw the Axis glow. Wait, are they trying to suggest that this little kid right here at the end of Char's counterattack is Hatsuri Rona? Everyone who saw Axis sensed a connection that day. It seems that he is chasing that dragon. Amado Ray believed that old types can achieve a new type state if they put their minds to it. Dur thinks he is talking like a crazy religious person, but he wants to put his faith into new types. If they could help everyone become one big family, then Zeon's war for independence wasn't in vain. He tells him to look at the document on the dashboard. Omer Fang, Jobjon, and Otis are going over the Minovsky Drive data. This acceleration with the Minovsky Drive will outdo the Dreg. These bros don't even know that this will eventually go to Jupiter in less than a week. It's all about the little steps. They are going to use what they learned in F91. It is just up to Dr. Monica Arno and her biocomputer. Go check out yesterday's video on F91 Prequel, which dives into Dr. Arno. As they continue talking, Help Hayden runs in and punches Jobjon in the face. He says that he doesn't care about the pilots and just cares about machine specs. Inside the envelope contains the Zionist report by Oi Nyung. Oi will go on to join the League. Don't lose your head, bro. He seems to be a friend of Hatsuri. This is a list of people who will never let the idea of Zeon independence die. Many terrorist organizations are on this list. One is NSP, or the New Summer Project. This is not the old NSP seen in the UC-90s during Under the Gundam Double Fake. These were the terrorists that Dur encountered in Amelia Colony. Another group is EGUM. We mentioned that EGUM was former anti-Federation freedom fighters that didn't reintegrate with the Federation. Here we are seeing a retcon. They are now a faction that rejected the Zombies alliance with a full frontal and the sleeves. Or perhaps this is a separate group also going by Egum. This was the team that killed Hajime and Ainsbury. Another team is the Golden Eagles. They are pirates working under Monahan Bakuro, which is interesting because he is rumored to have supplied the DNA to create full frontal. So he has 2 Zeon factions under his wing. This is the Zeon Remnant faction that Mizma comes from. The Pan-African Liberation Alliance is a mix of pro-Zeon Karaba forces and Titans remnants that advocate for a free Africa. This is also likely the evolution of the African Independence Front seen in Double Zeta that had the same goal. Remember the Blue Corps? Next is Ru Ravata. This is a team of illegals who have assassinated 3 ministers in the past 5 years. This team is similar in many ways to GBG, and Durr says he fought against them. On the last page is a man named Ryan Dragon. This was one of Haman Khan's right-hand men and connected to 3 of the terrorist groups previously mentioned. He was the one who was in charge of the takeover of Dakar under Haman's ruling. He did this through vile bloodshed. He calls his new remnant group the Legacy. While Ajax is trying to dock with Frontier 1, a ship approaches. It is the Manhunters. Still alive and kicking 11 years after Mafty's rebellion, Durr thinks that Legacy is the ones who took his mom. At that moment, he gets a new type flash. They are already here. RF Zaku's began attacking Frontier 1 7 years before Cosmo Babylonia. The Oldsmobiles make their presence known. And that will do it for this episode. We are seeing some love for Under the Gundam Double Fake as we've seen other factions that were grown out of the conclusion of the Neo-Zeon War. It has been 22 years since the Axis shock, but the ghost of Zeon still exists in this world. Mars Zeon is just another iteration of what we've seen in the past. However, this time we are seeing Federation loyalists change sides. Next time, we will see Fons Kagati and a Bolanok Saman. Durr will get into the F90 with the Type KB pseudo-personality computer, and Mami Usadai gets in the whole fighter. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, there are more remnant groups than the Federation is willing to admit. Peace.